It's a new year, guys, which means new video games, and today we're going to be taking a look at a few new looter shooter games that are coming in 2021 and beyond. And at number 5, we're just going to hop right in, is Outriders. Probably the one most of you will know about is Outriders because it was originally supposed to launch back in 2020 with a release date of December or something, but has been pushed back to the new release date of April 1st this year. And the game is a drop-in, drop-out co-op experience like many other looter shooters out there, and has been highly anticipated for quite a long time now. And the gameplay is third person, and will be focused on 3 different classes of weapons, very similar to Destiny, and also various classes, and using all their abilities. The game appears to take heavy influence from the studio's previous games like Gears of War and Bulletstorm, but of course it will take obvious inspiration from games like Destiny, Borderlands, and even The Division. Unlike Destiny or The Division though, Outriders will not be a live service game, which personally I find to be a very appealing draw of the game, as I think live service games have kinda had a pretty bad reputation lately. The game will have 4 separate classes: the Pyromancer, which is your medium range class that focuses on fire abilities, the Trickster, which is your close range fast paced melee character, the Technomancer, who is a long range support class with focus on healing abilities and other personal turrets and traps, and finally the Devastator, which is the tank class, which means close range, heavy armor, and just brute force. Each of the classes will have 8 skills in total, along with 3 separate subclass skill trees to spec out. The loot systems and character customization look very similar to Destiny, which I'd say is more of a positive because I believe Destiny's character UI is actually pretty intuitive to use, and overall Outriders gameplay systems look pretty polished. Loot will have varying qualities to them like uncommon, rare, legendary, and so on, and will definitely feel very familiar to fans of the genre. There are these big boss fights in the game that will be a massive part of the endgame experience, which the developers have said they've really tried to focus in on. And they've promised everybody a complete endgame experience on launch, not something that people will have to wait around for to release at a later date. The game has me overall very excited because of the way that they have been handling this game as not a live service, and that they are trying to deliver the full experience on day one and not something they can patch in at a later date. That all sounds promising to me because so many games these days have just gone down this route of promising the world and then time gating things and just never fulfilling truly on all the promises they made in the first place. Outriders is set to release on all consoles and on PC on April 1st, 2021. Yes, that is April Fool's, but hopefully they won't prank us really hard with this release. And number 4 is Witchfire, which is being developed by a studio called The Astronauts, who have said that Witchfire is heavily inspired by Dark Souls and also Destiny, but the developers don't want people to get the wrong idea about what the game is. They've strictly said they don't want to fall into the typical looter shooter business model formula that so many other looter shooters fall into. They instead want to create a complete and deep gameplay experience, even if that means the game won't be treated as a live service. And this is nothing but good news to me, and I'm glad that some of these developers out here aren't trying to make their game a live service because, like I mentioned earlier, that system just has a lot of drawbacks. And it's really what sells me on the idea of this game in the first place, is that a complete package will be there on release, and hopefully they'll be able to deliver on their vision for the game because of that reason. It's being developed with the Unreal Engine 4 engine, and it definitely looks like it takes advantage of all the graphical capabilities and also the gameplay systems available within Unreal Engine 4. The game's dark fantasy setting will likely take center stage as the rest of the game is built around it, which is great because I think overall the art style and kind of the graphic style they're going for with this world looks fucking fantastic. Now, Witchfire will be releasing on PC and potentially consoles at a later date, with an estimated release of fall 2021 or potentially into 2022. Now at number 3 is Scavengers, and Scavengers will be a free-to-play PvPvE sandbox shooter with looting elements. The game's premise is actually pretty interesting to me and honestly reminds me of The Division's Dark Zone. The game will pit 60 players in teams of 3 inside of a giant sandbox full of AI enemy outposts, wildlife, dynamic weather, and various other elements going against your survival. The player's goal is to collect data points which are found at outposts, abandoned settlements, and other parts of the map, and then escape the map with the most amount of data via a dropship that will land at the end of the match. Now, only one team can be the winner, and it obviously takes inspiration from games like Warzone or Escape from Tarkov, but it actually also takes inspiration from games like League of Legends, where you level up skills as you're in the match. You have unlimited respawns just as long as one of your teammates stays alive, which is actually kind of similar to The Division. And now I'm just gonna say it, guys, I've definitely grown tired of seeing the Battle Royale genre, but honestly, this one has me intrigued as a PvPvE game. The focus on clearing AI enemies for loot to use against real-life players within the same match actually sounds pretty great. And again, I just have to keep bringing it up. The Division did this, I think, pretty well. There were some balancing problems in The Division, but if they can nail a similar idea here with Scavengers, I think they'll have something really great on their hands. Now, Scavengers is currently in closed beta, but is set to release on PC sometime in 2021, with the potential for a console release at a later date. At number 2 is Everspace II, which is an upcoming fast-paced open-world space shooter with Diablo-like loot elements. It features vast open-world space exploration covering large distances with the use of light-speed travel where you'll discover many different planets and factions throughout the solar system, all within its roughly 20-hour campaign. The game is strictly a single-player experience with a heavy focus on RPG elements, tons of loot, as well as mining and crafting. While shooting bad guys in space isn't really a new concept, the developer's focus has been on delivering a deep gameplay experience with plenty of customization and unique enemies to use your various upgrades on. And the best part is that Everspace II is already in early access on Steam, so if you want to try the game out for yourself, you can definitely go download it there, but a full release is planned for sometime during 2022. At number 1 is Plan 8, which the developer Pearl Abyss is calling an open-world exosuit shooter that allows for superhuman strength and capabilities like scaling entire walls, leaping from building to building, and engaging in high-action combat with your exosuit. Now, Pearl Abyss is primarily known for their popular MMO game Black Desert Online, which has a reputation of being pay to win, and hopefully with Plan 8 being a free-to-play title as well, they won't fall down a similar pay-to-win platform. Now, this is the first time Pearl Abyss has made a shooter game, but they definitely have an extensive history with MMO games in the past, and hopefully that will translate positively into a looter shooter title. At a glance, the game looks like a combination of The Division, The Surge, and even Anthem, which if pulled off correctly could be a pretty awesome game. A release date is still unconfirmed right now, but it is speculated to be sometime later this year. Looter games have had a rough few years with a bunch of disappointing releases like Anthem, Godfall, and Destiny 2's last few expansions, so I'm not particularly confident that any of these games will absolutely kill it, but if I had to put my confidence in just a few of them, firstly it would be Outriders. Some of the things the devs have said, like the game being the complete package rather than a live service game, and the focus of a solid endgame, have me at the very least interested in seeing them deliver on those promises and hopefully give us a good looter shooter experience. Witchfire also just pulls my personal interest in simply for its visual and art style direction that feels very Dark Souls, and it really sounds promising as well as a complete package. Like I said, I'm not super hopeful that these games will be great because honestly the looter shooter genre has been nothing but disappointing for the last few years, but I do still have some interest in the genre, so fingers crossed at the very least, right? Now that's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments which game you're most looking forward to from this list, and if I missed any games that you're looking forward to, make sure to drop them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you all in the next one.